Hello everybody, welcome back to Theje's Notebook Review. What I have for you today is from Lenovo. This is the Flex 2. He has a ULV Core i7 processor in him with a 500GB hybrid hard drive, all underneath a 15.6-inch 720p 10-point multi-touch display that bends back up against the body. Is it good enough for all of your home user needs? Let's find out. Entering 2015, Lenovo's numbers all point to the upside, which is thanks to competitively priced products. This then is the Lenovo Flex 2. It retails for around $650 with an Intel Core i7-4510U CPU, which uses the integrated Intel HD 4400 GPU, 8 gigs of DDR3L memory, a 5400 RPM hybrid hard drive, all underneath a 15.6-inch 720p 10-point multi-touch Glossy display. It weighs only 5 pounds, the screen can be opened with one hand, and power is derived from a 4-cell lithium cylinder battery that gives you just under an hour and a half of gaming, which is nice, but disappointing since all the work is done by a 15-watt dual-core proc that expires in the same amount of time as the Asus GL551 with a real notebook i7 and a dedicated GPU. Let's see what all those holes in the side do. On the right, we get the Lenovo hard reset button, a card reader, 2 USB 2.0 ports, the optical drive, and the power button. On the left, we have a lock slot, the AC input, a vent, HDMI, LAN, a USB 3.0 for a total of 3 USBs, and the headset jack, so you'll need a 2-to-1 converter for your gaming headset. The top of the Flex 2 is straight up black matte that doesn't like to show fingerprints in most lighting conditions, save for the chrome Lenovo logo, of course. The finish around the keyboard is a rough brushed plastic that conceals fingerprints rather well, but the touchpad and keyboard do not. I couldn't get the bottom cover off the Flex 2, so no shot of the guts here. Do keep in mind that what you buy is what you get, and don't plan on being able to upgrade down the road. Wireless reception wasn't always 5 bars strong, but the signal was reliable nonetheless. The keyboard was hopefully not why Lenovo named this the Flex. Despite this physical defect, the keyboard performs admirably and misses no strokes, but the spacing is still odd compared to other manufacturers' keyboards, and key presses are very audible. Of course, the zero key still isn't double wide, but even though the function keys are mainly hotkeys, you can still confidently use Alt F4 without magical trickery. There's also an available backlight with 2 brightness settings, which looks and works as well as it should. The touchpad is the typical fare, with extra large size and no physical buttons, so if you ever have to stray from tapping, i.e. right-clicking, first throw down a slippery nipple and knock on wood. Try to forget that phrase every time you change your wallpaper. The 720p display is just as glossy as your tablet. Color balance is a bit warm and the viewing angles are rather narrow, but it's extremely flexible, so finding a good angle on your lap is always easy. However, in stand mode, finding a viewing angle during a movie will necessitate readjustment should you alter your seating position. Fortunately, there are higher-end IPS screens available and still for less cash than the Yoga series. The speakers on the Flex are incredibly voluminous. This is definitely the loudest notebook I've reviewed so far. It will almost match your cheap MP3 boombox, but the audio quality pales in comparison and it all comes out very dull. Watching movies or TV shows is bearable, but listening to music, like my new album Thin Glass Doors, which is available now on iTunes and Google Play, cannot be done its proper justice. One thing that I think the Flex really needs is a hardware volume rocker for when you're using it in stand mode. The overall system performance is rather speedy compared to competitors thanks to the hybrid hard drive and its SSD caching. Even though the Core i7 in here is just a dual core, you'll still browse faster than rival notebooks with only 7200 RPM hard drives. I also noticed while playing online games, my loading times were faster than most of the other players before matches. On to gaming. The Intel Core i7-4510U uses the Intel HD 4400 integrated GPU. If you absolutely have to play your favorite PC game on the go, the Flex will kindly oblige, but it won't do anything more than the absolute lowest detail settings, and even then your frame rates will be mostly in the 30 FPS and below range. Online MOBAs may start out sweet on medium details, but when the magic missiles start flying, your frame rates will start diving, making your in-the-moment skill shots less reliable, potentially costing you a match, and endless reprimanding from your 12-year-old teammates. Fan noise isn't much of a worry here, but the temps underneath the hard drive will make it a little bit uncomfortable to game with the Flex on your lap. For the bottom line, the Lenovo Flex 2 is perfectly suited to your kitchen table to watch movies on while you eat your Wheaties, and is powerful enough to accommodate heavy browsing and breezing through office work. In conclusion, students get a giant thumbs up. It's light enough to carry around campus without tiring your shoulder too fast, the keyboard will hold up once you're used to it, the battery life will last you through a couple 2-hour classes, and it's cheap as sin. Buy it. Gamers can skip out on this one, there's just not enough power, unless you need something cheap, and you're desperate. Really, really desperate. Desktop replacement users won't get enough raw CPU power out of the ULV Core i7. Complicated tasks like video and photo editing, coding, or 3D modeling are out of the question. Home users get a bright, shiny recommendation here. It's light enough to comfortably lug around the house and town, works great for browsing, has a good battery life, and it's not ugly. Win-win. This has been a review of the Lenovo Flex 2 here on Theje's Notebook Review. Go ahead and thumbs me up, ask your questions down below, share this video, and please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and you guys, have a good night.